fucking night mode um
Oh yeah,
for
dark,
so this is from
blinding eyes, as Roy would
eyes,
say.
my
Eyes
eyes.
are
Yeah.
blind. Oh, that's so funny.
Um.
Yeah, there's no way to put
Yep. So this is
Brave into
from
dark mode. I don't believe. But friend of the show,
Fee.
Fiorella,
Yep.
Isabel, Convo Couch wrote an article this week. Actually had done a story, and I watched her takes. This week she had done on the Convo Couch. She wrote this last Sunday, and I mentioned it very briefly, walked through it, a little bit of it, but hadn't really
On
had
this
time to go
stuff,
through it. Okay.
she had gotten like it pulled from either Twitter or
Hmm.
Substack once, right? Where it
Substack
was
did, because they
like,
said that she was sharing like some kind
right,
of personal information, which she wasn't, or that she didn't
we
have
had
permission,
full
which she
consent
did.
right from the people who put this information in here. So we figured we'd get it on YouTube in case Substack pulled it. So, um,
Right?
but uh, so T-Mobile employees speak out against vaccine mandates to fire hundreds of unvaccinated workers by April 2nd. When's that? How far is that away? A
That's like
couple
4
weeks?
weeks, 4 or 5 weeks out now,
Yeah,
5 weeks. All right. So
right.
basically, and it's
So
not a small number of people.
yeah. So the company's chosen to mandate a magenta pass and is denying most workers exemptions. Leaked documents show coercion, retaliation, and an attempt to dismiss the HIPAA rights of working employees.
Yeah,
So despite
HIPAA rights are the healthcare
yep,
privacy rights
yep,
that are
essentially they're
very,
saying things like
very important.
doctor patient confidentiality. Like, yeah, it's they're
Yes.
you know
Well, it's not only
congressional.
that, but it's also your online, your online files and who has access
Yep,
and rights to them, and you have
yep.
to expressly be able to give permission to anybody for them to see your medical file. And part of what's
Mm-hmm.
going on here, and you'll see, is they're requiring these employees to give a third party doctor um,
Yeah,
of the companies access to the medical file to review, and
right.
that is, I believe, illegal. I'm not sure how they're getting away with this, but we'll we'll,
Yeah.
we'll get to all this. And again,
So
despite that Supreme Court ruling, right?
yeah, President Joe Biden's attempts to allow the federal government to force vaccine mandates on private businesses. Some private companies can still choose to mandate vaccinations from workers. One such business is T-Mobile. Can they hear us now? That's T-Mobile, right? Or is that's AT&T? Which one has that now?
T-Mobile
Uh,
is Sprint. They merged with Sprint.
yeah, Sprint. So, who will terminate most unvaccinated employees by April 2nd? Many reached out to relay their anger, concerns, and overall sentiments on the behind-the-scenes actions taken by T-Mobile.
Right.
So, according to emails, T-Mobile employees document should leak to me from a current employee who wishes to remain anonymous for fear of retaliation. The company has also denied most exemptions. They reportedly also did not inform employees of the two-tier deadlines until this past January 28th. So, forced to go into unpaid leave until they can prove to be fully vaccinated by the final April deadline. Once vaccinated, they receive what the company calls a magenta pass, and even employees working in mostly remote positions will need it.
And
The
that's by
employee
tomorrow,
all
by the way. So,
yeah, yeah. So by tomorrow, right? So the employee told me that because she was afraid of losing her job, she got the first vaccine, but still did not want to be forced to get the second. Most of these employees, she said, were considered essential during the pandemic and are now at risk of losing their livelihood.
right.
So,
So then this is the article the letter
yeah,
that they sent out to their
explains all that.
employees, right?
Yep.
So their employee exemptions show that, like, while most positions are
The
affected, managers are
in
able to
one
be fully
form or another.
vaccinated, right?
Yep. So frequently, while some entry level retail worker positions not required full vaccination yet, even though they tend to frequently interact with people. One reason for this, according to a mail source who works at the company call center, is because the company does not own all store locations. They cannot dictate what resellers require from employees. Others said it's because they need to retain higher numbers of available employees for these entry level retail positions. Um,
Right. So what's
degree of
again
acceptance.
going on here is that they're not. mandating, they don't want to mandate for the retail employees. And so it's not even that's what Fee meant by this two-tiered system,
Yeah.
is that the workers for corporate themselves are all going to be required to and mandatory vaccinations, but the people in the retail stores that are actually engaging with the public, that are showing them the phones, that are face to face with the people, that they're not required to be vaccinated. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So exactly.
Like
And
if you just round enough money, you're, like immune to COVID is what I heard. So, you
right.
know, that's
So T-Mobile is at will, right? So meaning they can terminate
yeah,
for any time, but it also means that the employer can change the terms. It also means that the employee can leave at any moment that they want. That's also part
brave.
of at
It
will,
is not altered further. Yeah.
right?
Like,
Most countries do not have this structure and can only dismiss a worker with cause. All right, but
but in the US, every state minus Montana is assumed to work at will, leaving employees vulnerable to arbitrary dismissal, a limited or on call schedule, and cuts in pays and benefits.
right,
So, yeah, fucking shit all around. This,
yeah.
however, can be changed legally via contract and through other means, including collective bargaining. For this reason, the political leanings of the company play a huge role, and as I'm told, T-Mobile as a company leans very liberal. An example of the scant power T-Mobile employees hold showed when the company closed many locations during the pandemic, and according to several employees, crammed those left into stores to assert that they were still providing many jobs. My source also stated that T-Mobile is mass hiring at call centers to offset the people they'll be losing.
So they're now starting to outsource to going to lower paying jobs. Here is the email that they sent out, or the documentation about this Magenta Pass. I mean, this is a private company telling people about their health care and what they're requiring to do with their health care. Okay. And then here is Fee's talking about, she specifically talks to workers who are being silenced, who are having problems, and the reasons why they don't want to get the vaccination to begin with. How
Mm-hmm.
they lean politically. You've got quite a bit of information. This is not anecdotal necessarily, um, though she is talking to one-off people. This is representative. Okay, so again, we've
Yeah.
got and we've got three workers that she spoke with. Again, I read ahead. I watched her. Or she did a video this week on both the Convo Couch. I highly encourage watching Fiorella's explanation of all of this on the Convo Couch, as well as with
Yep.
Nico House. She spent a half hour with Nico earlier this week talking about this. But again, I didn't see it covered in very many other places. I thought it was really important because I said to somebody back in August when I first heard Fauci talking on Meet the Press. I was asked by somebody who covers the Monday morning news to watch a
Yeah.
segment on Meet the Press, and I watched Fauci on Meet the Press, and I said, "Oh my God, he's calling for private employer mandates like now." This was back in August. I said, "This is going to tear the country apart." I was asked, "What do you mean?" Well, if you're
Right.
going to tell a private employee that their company is going to have to dictate that they get the shot in order to keep their job, you're going to have mass people quitting. You're going to have uprisings. You're going to have all kinds of problems that we've never seen in this country. I predicted this
Yeah.
9 months ago. Anybody could have seen this coming. Honestly, it's not that hard to predict. All right, but
Yeah, it's just to what degree at that point did you think people were, it's like, I mean, it's people aren't listening to a circle outside themselves, so they have no idea how many people oppose what they're thinking, you
right.
know?
Yep.
So,
Yep. So this person was
it,
actually fired, someone who made a video and has been removed for violating company guidelines. Um, and again, the backlash has been happening, and they are trying to get this suppressed. Fiorella did do an interview where she wrote out some of the questions that people responded to. And again, I encourage you to read
yeah,
all of these responses. This is a pretty long article. Some of the emails that had gone back and forth from T-Mobile. The other thing that's happening here again is this third party doctor that they're asking T-Mobile employees to sign a waiver of their HIPAA rights so that um,
Oh God.
right, so that
Yeah.
the company's doctor can verify whatever it is that their doctor is saying is going on as to
Well,
why
then
they should be given the
on top of
exemption.
this, you have Jimmy talked about recently how they're giving that vaccine data up, the gene sequencing stuff, like
Well, and that's
whether
just it.
like
Because when you give up your HIPAA rights, they then have rights to do whatever they want with that medical data.
data,
And
right?
and they could potentially be breached as well. I mean, how many companies have had their data breached and now all of a sudden your private data is out there on the market, please?
And now that it's like that they're essentially also taking your DNA to have it sequenced, like on top of that
Yeah,
with
worker
the
one was a
uh,
Bernie supporter. Worker two is apolitical, who tends to be a registered Republican who leans libertarian. Okay, and number three is just a heartbreaking case of a current cancer patient. They're driving hours of travel to get to treatments. Their costs are thousands of dollars out of pocket, and if they did not have their job where they're making, I think she said 47,000 a year, they wouldn't be able to pay any bills. They would lose their health insurance. They could lose their life. I mean, very quickly and very easily.
yeah,
It's literally life and death. Yeah, 47,000 a year on my own. My life can do a bestseller story. Ugh,
yeah,
heartbreaking. Okay, vaccination is required in order to work on site at your T-Mobile location. So again, this is what's going on.
yeah,
Great job, Fee. Killing it. Thank you for reporting on this. Okay, here is the thing. The form the employees were sent and where they'll have to sign away their HIPAA rights if they wish to proceed with an exemption.
yeah,
So again, this is consequences. And Pasta pointed out that Shaq apparently got into a thing, and he kept pointing back to, well, it's an if then. That means that there are consequences for not getting this, and
yeah,
it's pretty sad. Okay, once my health information is disclosed, it will become part of my T-Mobile employment record. So now the credit companies can potentially have access to this as your employment record. I don't know how private this even is.
yeah,
Not required. I'm not required to provide the above authorization and may refuse to sign this form. However, doing so may result in denial or delayed processing of my accommodation request. And they basically said that if you don't do this, we're going to deny your request.
yeah,
But they can't say it without saying it. And then this is the form that's being sent, highly invasive. All right, this is another person. They're very afraid of retaliation from the company. They've seen people already
yeah.
fired from this.
Right.
Okay,
Walking on
someone mentioned
eggshells.
company
You
feels
do
like
with
walking on eggshells, exactly.
yeah.
Right,
Also,
and
what you do with narcissistic parents. But
right.
I digress.
This is from the layoff, and they'll retaliate against you if you say something they don't like. More layoffs coming in the next 60
Yeah.
days, and you can see this is what's
Jeez.
going on these message boards.
Subreddit.
They
That's
just
that's a
realigned
subreddit.
consumer markets in summer of 2021. Oh, how interesting.
What subreddit is that? I
What
wonder
subreddit
quizzically.
is that? Is it
Um,
Walking on Edge? No, that's the name of it. This is an
the
online forum called the
layoff.com.
Layoff.com.
Yeah, it looks like Reddit.
It does look like Reddit, but it's just a message board or a
Same
bulletin board.
format. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, kudos. Again, Senior VP of Sales George Fisher. Maybe this is why, like there are certain names that are messaged, but that's in an email that
Yeah.
was sent to an employee who gave permission to put that out. Okay,
Mm.
and providing growth strategies, and anonymous whistleblower who didn't even share their real name sent data proving the T-Mobile's mandate is at least questionable. Now here's the actual. Now Fiorella's getting sent employee counts. This is where it gets really interesting. All right.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. So
Yeah.
3/4 of their workforce is already vaccinated, right? They have seventy-two
Right.
thousand employees, which means that around 17,000 are unvaccinated,
1,000 employees are
and these
unvaxxed.
are the ones that they're going
Jeez.
to fire. Seventeen
Right.
thousand people.
Right. That's 30%. Like what was said? Yeah. It's like you're talking around 30%, right? Like
Right?
take off 77, 100 minus 77. What are we left with? Like this is fairly easy math.
Right?
Um, 94% of employee COVID cases.
Right. So
He
62,000 out of 66,000 were
64,000.
retail related. So they're not
Yeah.
even, and they're exempted. So of the 66,000, taking all of them, all right, so taking into account these numbers, the mandate is due to 5% or 3,982 non retail employees who got COVID out of
Right. I mean,
72,000.
if this is indicative of what future
Not,
companies, not just T-Mobile, right? You're talking about numbers of essentially how much of the workforce being like,
and this isn't who died
you know
from
what I'm saying?
COVID. This isn't who got hospitalized from
Right.
COVID. This isn't even necessarily who missed work necessarily much from
Hmm.
COVID. Who got
Right.
COVID? 30, less than
Yep.
4,000 employees out of 72,000. Now, again,
I'm
that's
just
one.
thinking
This is
about
one
the
company.
unvaccinated. If that's, yeah. Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So 73% reported no symptoms of the 66,000 exposures that they had reported. So a
Yep.
lot of numbers to show that this is a small problem, that they're making a huge mandate across the
Mandate.
board to 72,000 people because of 3,900 people who got sick. What?
Yeah.
They don't want to see 72,000 people get sick, which is what they would say, but there's no guaranteeing that giving them the shot is going to get any more people less sick. It's just not.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish that was the case, and I hope YouTube doesn't kill my channel for that. But
I
these
know. I was
these
looking at the
numbers
same numbers you
statistic
were going.
these numbers
Yeah.
statistically show that it
And it
something
shows
is not right
towards
here,
endemic behavior too.
right?
Like,
So again, here's Bill de Blasio in New York City. They're going to fire 3,000 unvaccinated municipal workers for failing to get the jabby jab by the end of the week. Unreal.
yeah.
So hopefully we stand in solidarity with the workers. Okay, that they should not have this vaccine forced on them, especially now that given the statistics that are coming out with more myocarditis, more heart stuff, more women's menstrual issues, more effects with other medications,
Oh,
more every week. Right.
like, ha, yes. What the fuck?
It's pretty
Uh,
unbelievable, right? So
like
there you go.
ridiculous.
Cloth masks don't work to stop the spread. Questionable that any,
Yeah,
including N95s, do because the virus is airborne. Right.
we're
So
talking
according to
about the
Johns
Great Barrington.
Hopkins study, right.
I mean, if you haven't looked up what that actually is, I suggest you doing it for yourself. I know there's a bunch of, Whitney's covered it, Fee and them have covered it, Slow News Days covered it, like Jimmy's even covered it.
Mm-hmm.
So, all those things, go look up what that is for yourself.
It's effectively,
And
the
yeah, it talks about that there's
that
essentially
they should.
doctors are not providing treatment,
Well, no,
that
but they
they're
should only
providing
vaccinate the people who need to be vaccinated versus
that
vaccinating everyone.
that as
And that
well.
the
Right.
declaration that they're declaring that you cannot vaccinate your way out of this pandemic because you're going to only
Pandemic.
introduce further variants. On top of the fact
Right.
that you
On
won't even
top of
give the
that, they're
vaccine,
also right.
you won't even give the
Yeah, I
patent
mean,
to half the
there's so
world.
much to it. I mean, I think about the stuff where it's like they're talking about, that the doctors aren't doing anything other than like they might put you on the vent and that's it. They're not doing anything for like no, I've heard, I get the that yes, like vitamin D, all that crap, right? Like and just getting your overall health up and a bunch of stuff, like
Right. Obesity,
uh,
reducing the
right.
obesity. That
Yep.
a large percentage of the people who were
Yep.
hospitalized were obese.
Can confirm you get healthier when you lose weight. Can confirm.
Okay.
Um,
Natural immunity can supplement the vaccination. Okay. And
yeah,
that has been proven again
all the
this is the
side
national
effects and
review.
stuff, and
Again, I mentioned
athletes
mental.
and things
Wow,
like
that's
that.
funny.
Yeah,
Me,
it gets
Fee. I think I was
crazy.
watching the. I think I was watching Convo Couch.
Yeah,
Right,
sounds like we both have been.
right. Because she does great
Protect
work.
anonymity of
They all do.
sources. Yeah, good for you,
Shout out
Fee.
to
This is
Convo.
fucking killer shit.
Damn. Right. Controversy. Then
Yeah,
she talks about what are the truckers protesting? Mandates. And have dominated independent media coverage, right? But the controversial truckers have halted economic production, transportation due to their protests, which is exactly what we've been saying again since last summer. Truckers, shut
yeah.
down the trucks. Shut down the trucks. You will get what you want. You will get people talking.
Fucking
You will get
working
activity.
people. There was a video. Did I save it? I hope I saved it.
Honk
But there was a
honk,
video of a
motherfucker. That's
guy
all I can say. Honk honk.
of a of a guy who's like, just turn the trucks off. You don't even have to keep them. Just turn them off.
Hmm?
Right? Like New York has like 3 days if we don't drive there with food. Like like they were talking about fucking and
Not
he's
even a
like, yeah, no,
convoy.
it
Yeah, just shut it down.
right. Just shut it down.
Right.
Like
Right. The
you
problem is
know,
that a lot of people, and especially the people who would be most affected, are the people who are living hand to mouth on a
identify it.
day-to-day basis first. They would be most
Yep.
affected first, and that's awful. And I'm not
Yeah.
advocating to starve out the inner city whatsoever. No, that's
Yeah.
not what we
No,
need
I
to.
mean it's
But what we need to
the
do
fact that
is plan
it's
for this
ineffective. Yeah.
and tell
Yeah.
the people, they look, guys, this is what's coming, and we'll load you up with extra shipments for the next couple of weeks.
Yep.
Find somewhere to store this stuff
Yep.
because this is what's coming. Okay.
Yeah.
We've got to give them a heads up, and we all need to work together, and we all need to plan this out effectively
Yeah.
so that the ruling elite cannot counter it and can't smash it because
Yeah.
they've managed to smash everything. Uh,
Oh,
truckers are going to lose their licenses permanently, and that's part of the thing we can negotiate in a settlement back because they're not going to be able to run without it unless the problem is they're bringing the military, they're bringing the National Guard, they're bringing in. Yeah,
yeah.
again, it's getting ugly. But then, how much freedom do you really have to do your job? Let them find somebody
Yeah.
else at that point. Again, they're arresting and imprisoning Canadian protesters up to a year in jail, fining up to $100,000. They're going after GoFundMe people who are, again, that has to do with the mandate. They're protesting
Yeah.
a mandate. They're protesting that this is having to be mandated across the board when 90% of the truckers are already vaccinated. This is not about
Yeah.
This is not about the shot itself. This is about the government mandate and the overreach of the mandate in this case, because it is still an experimental drug.
Right.
The U.S. appears to be at
Oh.
the beginning of a war, an information war, that begs the question how much Americans are willing to fight for their own medical freedom and how much that conflict how widely the government wants to exert control for a supposed approach to public safety. One thing for certain, every time the U.S. government has events in which it must deal with security and safety of the nation, be it 9/11, January 6th, COVID, it ends up ratcheting back civil liberties and amping up authoritarianism and takes away things that the American people seem to never get back.
Absolutely.
Killer stuff by Fee. Great work.
Yep.
So that
More
one
of
told a
that,
little bit.
please. If anyone hasn't seen Convo Couch's stuff, go take a look at the trailer on their YouTube channel. They do great work. So
There's the link in the chat to the article.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna try not to talk over each other. We usually don't do that.
Yeah, I thought we were doing pretty well.
Yep.
All
right. So that's Fee.
Oh,
Okay. So
nice.
we've got two more.